Hello friend and welcome. I am Karishtina O'Loughlin and I am a 5-element guide and Chinese face reader. Today I am giving a talk, like all my other talks, that is directly from and inspired by the 5-element system of Chinese medicine. The 5-element system is heavily nature-based, which is why you can hear the sea in the background. The ancient Chinese observed the patterns and cycles in nature, observed our organs and the type of emotions we have, and over many thousands of years' worth of observations, refined and connected these things into 5 categories, a system of 5 elements that interrelate and connect with one another. These observations and insights on authenticity come from this ancient wisdom. This is the first insight. The best thing about authenticity is that you don't even have to know who you are in order to commit to it. Whatever I am, however I am feeling at this moment, I will be it. In the 5 elements, authenticity is associated with the image of falling autumn leaves, the true image of impermanence. So there's always flexibility in authenticity. There's always a fresh moment, always a new breath. To be authentic is to be falling, shedding, or descending. If you're at sea with the waves crashing over you, and yet you have that commitment to authenticity, you have your North Star that will guide you into self-knowledge. And if you're hearing this and thinking who, how, and what the fuck, authenticity in the 5-element system is placed in the same category as respect. So when we are authentic, we are self-respectful. When we are authentic, we are observing from high. When we are observing, we are not meddling, not controlling, not criticizing, not placing conditional offers. When we are authentic, we allow a deep sense of being because there is no meddling, no controlling, no criticizing, and no placing of conditional offers. Authenticity, respect at a distance, allows self-healing to happen. Like the alchemist or the magician, there is now space to create magic without the king meddling in his affairs. Being authentic with unworthiness issues helps heal them. Simply to say I am and be aware and notice does a lot. Having a hurried state of mind and having a continual slew of thoughts of am I unworthy? Am I worthy? For me, fits into self-disrespect as it's trying to control, criticize, place conditional offers, meddle and minimize the divine expression of the self. It's sacred to respect. It's sacred to allow things to be. The quote-unquote disadvantage of authenticity is that it gives way to a feeling of being adrift, at sea and anchorless. This is because authenticity makes a sudden change in the internal self. So now the outer life no longer resembles the internal. Now to find a match between interior and exterior, meandering and exploration in the dark is required, and so too is trust. There is no doing once we are adrift, there is being, and if there is being, there is no work. We will simply be carried. And we need to remember that this time before our birth is not a place of light. Gestation is not a process that takes place out in the open. It's always darkest before dawn. To be who you are without conflict, without self-criticism, is to be free. Authenticity also generates a lot of trust and safety in the unknown, as if you believe you are the way you are for a reason, then it is meant to be, and if it is meant to be, there is something in creation who will match it. That authenticity will slice you from any stuck moorings and set you off in a better unknown and more trustful and safer direction, because there is always that authentic North Star. There is always that act of noticing, coming back to the breath, the moment, the act of questioning, what do I want, and then acting on the irrationally wise and intuitive answer. The simple statement of I am authentic is a courageous one because authenticity inspires courage. Authenticity is an act of letting go. And this brings me to grief. Sometimes what can follow authenticity is grief, because once we shed, descend, and let go, we can begin to see how we have been inauthentic, how we've been against the self and the divine expression, and then begin to mourn the unnecessary damage we have done. If we don't know how to be authentic, or answer the question, what do I want, or who am I? The 5-element system states that kindness feeds and creates authenticity. If we can be kind, self-gentle, then authenticity will flourish. Kindness creates authenticity. It aligns us with the nature of the divine, but when we are true to our hearts, we are kind. We automatically create generosity of spirit. When we are kind, both to ourselves and others, we are authentic. When we are self-gentle and kind, we are able to notice, to set our principles, standards, and our moral code. Self-gentleness, compassion, is the absence of the self-critic, the guilt, and the blame. When that absence is filled with kindness, we can begin to ascend to a height where we are able to see what is right and what we can stand for. We can begin to see our higher purpose. We can start to be authentic. And we know we have reached authenticity when we begin to feel fed. I've now come to the last of those insights. I hope you enjoyed them. Stay a while and listen to the waves if you'd like to absorb this information further, or just enjoy the sounds.